Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Continuing on with Before You Buy with Radford Castro, Director of Engineering. We give him all the latest and greatest PCs. You've had some good things to say about the latest Dells, but this one is not a laptop. It's a tablet,
Yes.
the Venue Pro. We've seen the 8-inch. This is the 11.
Yes, well, it's more 10.6 inches.
10.6, okay.
Yeah,
They
well,
call it 11.
Yeah, they call it 11, making it easier, right? So this is actually an HD screen. It's full 1080p. It's 1920 by 1080 by using IPS. It's using Intel Core, and I'm just going to try to knock out the specs right over here.
We should mention this is not an RT tablet. This is
Yes,
full
this is full
Windows 8.1
Yeah,
Pro.
that's a really big difference right here. So
You can't tell just by looking at it.
Nope, not until you actually start playing with the desktop and install some legacy stuff. So that's where it really starts to, you start thinking about what works for you with this.
This can run all Windows software.
Yeah, well,
and that's because it's an Intel processor,
yes,
not an ARM processor.
right.
What did they put in this one?
So this one, they have the Intel Atom running at 1.46 gigahertz, 2 gigabytes of RAM. You have about 10-point touch using a pen, so it's pen enabled. Then you have a dual band Wi-Fi, and you have your cool webcam, and you actually have 8 megapixels in the back, so that's kind of cool.
10-point touch means you can use all 10 fingers.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the iPad in that respect. And you find it pretty responsive. I'm
It's
intrigued
very
on
responsive.
that Atom processor. It's pretty good.
So which is really interesting. Back in the days, I reviewed the Envy, which also used the Atom, and it wasn't that strong then. But for some reason, just playing this tablet by itself, I'm just going to run a couple of things here.
Look at those things are all running in the background.
Yeah,
wow.
this is all running stuff in the background, and it's extremely responsive. And remember, this is all full HD, so it's pushing pixels really well. I forgot to mention, too, that this is running Gen 7 Intel graphics, so that's something helps a lot in terms of pushing pixels.
All right. So this must be a Haswell. Is there such a thing as a Haswell Atom?
No, it's just
It's
Atom.
not? Just Atom. All right.
So, but, I mean, it's low power, and that's another thing that's a good point, too, is that the battery life is just incredible on this thing. This
How
thing
much?
lasted me for a week on standby.
A week?
But our usage is about 8 to 9 hours, maybe
That's
about
very
12
good.
at the most.
That's very
running, stuff in the background, including games, which was very surprising. So.
Now, it doesn't come with a keyboard. It's really tablet focused.
Yes. Yes.
But can you get a keyboard? I guess
Yes,
you
you
could use
can.
it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 159,
All right.
and it has its own battery. That increases the life of the battery up to 15 hours. So
That's
it's pretty
great.
ridiculous.
That's
yeah.
a new thing people are doing with these click-on keyboards is adding batteries
Yes.
to the keyboard itself. Gives you more juice.
And it has the mouse, of course, so it has the trackpad similar to its competing stuff like the. But I mean, I can do all the normal stuff you could expect to do on Office. This
Seems
is
pretty
one
snappy.
Yeah.
You know what amazes me? Windows didn't used to run well in 2 gigs of RAM.
But this
But
one
none of
does.
these tablets, have more than 2 gigs. That's pretty standard for a tablet. You find 2 gigs is plenty, even for multiple things in the background.
Well, if I'm running stuff like Photoshop, which I've tried, it still chugs, right?
Okay.
Things like that.
Anything
You're
with big
dreaming-
files are not going
definitely.
to do well.
If
All
you're
right.
running some heavy-duty enterprise stuff, then definitely. It's not like you're running SQL Server on this
Right.
thing. So.
But Windows 8 is tuned in the tablet mode to be smart with memory, be smart with processors. Even if something like you see all those things in the background, none of them are actually using, in most cases, any CPU.
Right. It just stays frozen in memory.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you're just
or
browsing
even
through
even memory, they'll unload it if they need it.
Pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
when we're swapping between, when we're multitasking, we always see it in frozen time, basically almost like a screenshot of what we're seeing. And it just refreshes every time we're going back and forth. But the cool thing is that it's very, very responsive, even with just 2 gigabytes of RAM. So this particular model has 32 gigabytes
Of storage. Right.
And
Can you add an SD card?
yes, you can, micro SD,
Okay.
and up to 64 gigabytes. And it also has USB 3.0, all the normal stuff you'd expect to have. It has HDMI out too, so that's kind of cool. And the question I've always asked myself is this a suitable replacement for my laptop? And actually, kind of yes.
Really?
For about 80% of the apps that I've been running, it does. So then I try to do things like this, like run some games in the background.
They're not going to do well.
I mean, it's not
Is
going
this
to do
Forza?
that well. This is actually Asphalt 8.
Okay.
And this is just obviously, 3D running in the background.
Well, you could see the hesitation.
Yeah, you could see the frame rate
stutter.
drop.
Yeah.
And this is just not even running a race at the moment. So
Yeah.
you could see that the Atom and the Gen 7 don't work well together in terms of these type of games.
This would be good for email, web surfing, not great for gaming,
No.
basic productivity apps, that kind of thing.
So
How about Skype? Does that work pretty well? on
Skype
it?
works excellent, and
Oh,
just
good.
since we're talking about Skype, it uses the video camera. Here's a little bit of what we're looking at through the 8-megapixel camera.
I thought it was white noise. It's our carpet.
Yeah, it's the carpet.
All right.
But yeah, it's not bad. I mean, the lens is not too bad. So it gives you an indication of what the photo looks like as well. So I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. But maybe I'll just take a skip on that.
This is not bad.
Yeah.
This is not bad.
Yeah.
So pros and cons.
The pros is that, let me just look at my cheat sheet because I just suck at this. It's versatile, and the
Right.
big thing is that it runs full Windows.
Right.
And then the price. The price is the big piece right now. This thing
How
starts
much?
at $499.
Right. Same as an iPad.
Yeah, and this
And
is
that's
we're talking-
Wi-Fi only. Okay.
And this tops off at $999, so you have different configurations to work for this.
It's no accident that it's $499. I think they really are saying, look, you could have an iPad with iOS. It's a tablet only, or you can have a real desktop operating system on your same price.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That almost speaks to the RT stuff because everyone's been kind of thinking RT or desktop, but this thing it's huge to be able to have some sort of desktop power in this kind of price.
Does this come with Office, or do you have to buy it?
It does.
It
does come with
does?
Office, yes.
Wow.
So that's huge. The other thing too is that it just has really good battery life. And for that, I mean, just without the keyboard or anything, it's about 9 to 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours, even with stuff running in the background, playing games and browsing the web. I even did some benchmarks if Brian could show some of that stuff right there. It's actually really cool. So here's some stuff running on 3D Mark, and it runs well above the category average within this class range. So it's
It is
really
even
cool.
beating the Surface 2, which
Yeah,
is
pretty
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and the Surface 2, mind you, it's running RT, right? I mean, we're running, it's.
Oh, that's not the Surface Pro. That's the Surface 2.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Wow.
So I mean,
Faster
fact
than the
that
iPad. Faster than the Surface.
yeah,
That's nice.
and the battery too is very competitive in that level too.
There's
so-
got to be some negatives.
Yes, negative is that it's a fingerprint magnet and it generates a lot of nice heat. You can really cook your eggs on this.
It's a hot fingerprint
Yeah,
magnet.
definitely. It's a hot fingerprint thing, and it also has some weak brightness to it. So.
It's not very bright, you think?
It's not. This is actually pretty maxed out. And
Well, we're sitting in bright studio lights, and it
Yeah.
still looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty
Yeah.
good, but in comparison to some of the tablets I've seen,
Okay.
and some of the reviews I've been reading about other people complaining about the brightness over time, so that's.
How do you feel about? We looked at the Lenovo Mix, which was an 8-inch tablet last week. 8-inch versus 10.6 inches.
It's not that much of a difference. I think
Okay.
really what will really matter is the experience of those apps.
Right.
What do they look like between those resolutions?
Right.
So-
The resolution is the big difference. This is full
Yeah,
HD.
This is full HD,
Yeah.
1920,
Yeah.
on an IPS screen. So that's really, really nice.
All right, buy, try, don't buy.
You know, for this price, it's an absolute buy.
$500.
Yeah.
For the Dell Venue 11 Pro, we really like the Venue 8 as well. They've done some good stuff, haven't they?
Yeah.